Actually, I already mentioned that we had excavated at Khirsara for a 4 season from 2009 to 2013. And our paper is an architectural excellence of the Harappans, what we had found during the course of excavation. Actually, yes, Khirsara is situated 5 kilometers from Netra. Actually, it is also known as Netra Khirsara because there are 3 or 4 Khirsaras in Kutch district itself. So it is in the earlier literature, it is also mentioned as Netra Khirsara, and it is 7 kilometers south of Narayan Ravapur on the Narayan Sarovar highway. The site is locally known as Gadwadi, and it is under a private cultivation. You can see that here the contour map and the Google map, which shows the same. The river Kari flows just 400 meters from the site. The site is measuring about 230 meter into 310 meter, is stratified in shape and enclosed by general fortification with bastions and salients at regular intervals. The excavation also revealed the residential area, warehouse, citadel, factory area, clinics, all with separate enclosures, but provided with guardrooms, but within the general fortification. And you all know that the Harappans are famous for the systematic town planning. Here you can see that during the course of excavation, we had found the 5 structural phases, which divided into 2 phases, that mature Harappan and late Harappan. And each and every structural phases, the evidence of a flash flood which has destroyed the site has been found as a band of a sand silt deposit at every site. After every flash flood, the people of Khirsara has raised structures over the mud banks. And each and every, in the first phase, we can see the structures are very polished sandstones paved with floor and rubble stones and plastered with mud or laid with multicolored mud brick beds. And even some of the rooms have revealed hearths. The whole site was reorganized, as I mentioned, after a flash flood that has destroyed every place. Even the angle of structures, when you are going to see the structures, you can see that angle of structures has a slight deviation from the earlier phase. And it was followed up to the 4th phase. And as there is a general decline in the 5th phase, the structures are in a facade shape. They also reinforce the fortification, especially the citadel wall, which was very near to the river Kari. And these are the maximum the forts and fortifications. As I already mentioned that these are the fortification wall, where it is just a tapering in shape. And before leveling the site, the people of Khirsara had leveled the ground bedrock. Actually, the site was raised over the bedrock. They had chiseled the bedrock and they had raised with the mud brick. And first, they had laid the mud bricks, and after above that, they had raised the structures in a tapering form. And another important feature is a double fortified wall. Actually, this is a general fortification wall of the Harappan, where at Khirsara we had found a double fortified wall. It is just 2 to 3 meters from the fortification wall, but from here you can see that it is just near to the wall, along with the wall. But when you are going, this wall has taken a separate deviation after going for nearly 10 to 20 meters, and it becomes a separate parallel wall all along the site. It covers all along the site. And you can see here the salients, which is another feature of the Harappans. And the whole site was more or less plastered with mud. You can see the evidence of the mud plaster of the along the fortification wall. Not only in the fortification wall, this mud plaster is even seen inside the citadel structures also, the structures inside the citadel. And I had already mentioned that this is actually the double fortified wall, where we had signed adjoining to the fortification. Here had a separate deviation, and it runs all along the site. Actually, the fortification wall is here. And here we have the salients of a rectangular in shape at regular intervals, which we had found at every 4 to 5 meters. Sorry. This is a corner bastions. The 4 corners, the bastions are given in the off-sided position where the fortification wall comes, and it had gone with an off-sided. And this parallel wall runs towards and turns on the eastern side also. To know the particular corner of the bastions and the inner fortification, we had laid trenches on all the 4 corners. And on the southeastern corner, we had found a small trench. We had laid a small trench, where from this area we had found ash deposit, most probably with the nearly thousands of drill bits of various shapes. Even we found a raw material of earnestite and beads, the same precious stone beads of various stages of production. And even we find a 2 statite seals from here. And this is another corner, northeastern corner we had done for a trial range. And as far as the next one is a residential area, the excavation inside and along the inside the northern fortification wall has revealed the residential structures with interconnected rooms, door sills, pillar bases, and chulas, and they are belong to different phases. These rooms have multifarious entrances, and as I already mentioned that it is evident from every phase the ground was leveled with multicolor mud bricks, and the streets we had also exposed some of the streets going there, and it was rammed with conker stones, mud, and household waste like potsherds, bones, shell debitages, and calcite materials. And from here also we had found 2 seals. This is one of the structure. You can see here, this is the northern fortification wall. Just adjoining to the northern fortification wall, we had found the residential structures with pillar bases, door sills, and rooms with multifarious entrances. And this is another view of the same house. And this is one of the earliest phase structures we found just behind. When you go for the deep trench, we had found the first phase structure here, and it is what we had found that Chulah. You can see with a pot in situ. When you send the samples, it was collected. The samples are collected from the pot. We have found some bone pieces also inside that pot. This is one of the important structure of the Khirsara is a warehouse, because only a few sites of Harappan civilization revealed a warehouse, like Vadodara, Harappans, Kuntasi, Somnath, like that. Meherkar also revealed a warehouse. And here you can see the warehouse is measures 12 meter north-south and 28 meter east-west. It consists of 14 parallel walls, which average distance of 0.7 meter to 0.75 meter laid in north-south orientation. The width of these walls varies alternatively from 1.55 meter to 1 meter. That is, one wall is 1.55 meter, and the second wall is 1 meter, and the third wall is 1.55 meter. Like that, alternatively, it has been 1.55 to 1 meter. And there is 3 walls bisecting on east-west at regular intervals. That rectangular platform also we had found abutting the parallel walls was provided at the northern end, which probably served as a working platform. The superstructure seems to have been made of perishable materials, and the space in between the parallel walls might use as an air duct. The structure was adjacent to the east of the citadel and close to the southeastern entrance with a pathway and a flight of steps, along with a series of guard rooms on both sides. And you can see here just a photo of the parallel walls, which is identified as a warehouse. You can see here the parallel walls are running, and here the platform, working platform. And here also you can see that a close-up view. And here is a 3 wall east-west wall which bisects each other. And you can see this is a northern entrance. It is a warehouse is just 3-4 meter from this southeastern entrance. You can see actually it is a closed in lateral phase. You can see a series of guard rooms on both sides. And even this guard room as a partition. And here you had found a storage jar also. And you can see here another view of the same, where the flight of steps is going there. And this is the overall plan. You can see here the parallel walls. From here it is starting. You can, if you count means, then you can see the parallel walls up to here. Actually, and this is the closed entrance. You can see here this, and this is the bastion, corner bastion, and you can see here the series of guard rooms, and here also you can see the guard rooms. And actually the excavation was restricted to a particular place. So the extension of these walls or other parallel walls are yet to be investigated. And this is another significant discovery is a factory area where it is just located north of the citadel. It is very meticulously planned and laid with a passage of 5 meters in between the citadel and the factory area with a massive masonry walls on either side. A flight of steps has been provided along the wall to approach from the factory side from the south as well as from the north. The factory was provided with a large and spacious rooms as usual, and generally with interconnected. Generally, they are interconnected, having separate entrances. The floors were stone paved and plastered with either thick layer of mud bricks material or rammed shell depitages. However, the different alignment of the wall indicates that repairing, adjustment, alterations, additions are made in later stages to suit their requirements. The presence of two big furnaces, Tandoor Chulah, storage jars paved with proper constructed bins, hoard of gold, semi-precious and stated beads, copper implements, seals, inlays, weights and shell objects and depitages reveal that the area indicates that this area is utilized for manufacturing activity. Further, it is another one important is the separate area for everything. Shell debitage, there is a separate area. For copper smelting is a separate area. For bead making, there is a separate area like that. And this is a factory area from the Citadel before excavation. And after excavation, you can see here, actually this is a wall. This is just opposite to the Citadel area with a 5-meter difference. And you can see here the steps going into this. And here this is a copper, we had found the evidences of copper smelting from this area with the pillar bases and pear-shaped furnace, all those things with the copper ingots, all those things. And this is a floor where it was covered with mud brick material or with the shell depitages. And this is another view of the factory area from opposite side. Actually, this is a Citadel area. And here we have found a Tandoor Chulah, where this area is especially meant for the shell making process, where we had found beads of various shell beads or shell bangles and depitages along with a water scrub also. And you can see here, this actually we had found here the ash dump. Actually, this is a factory. This is outside of the factory area. From this area, a small trial trench has been laid, and from the sieving of the for collecting of the samples, charcoals and all things, and we had sieved those things. And from this area, we had found thousands of stated micro beads. And you can see here the structures where they had made alteration additions. You can see here the mud brick. They had used multicolor mud bricks, and the structures are partitioned according to their wishes in the latter stages. And you can say also that whenever there is a flash flood, they had straight the structures, and they had have the slightly deviation of the structures. And actually, this is in early phase. This is the entrance of the factory area from this side. But actually, after in the late phase, they had closed this entrance with another parallel wall. And this area is used for a shell baking industry. Here we found the even shell button and a shell in the morning. So there is net sinkers which they are telling. And we had found that type of port buttons and musical instruments which are used for guitars like that. The small shell objects also we had found here. And this is another part of the factory area where you can see that rooms with interconnected rooms, all those things with ash and all the covered drains, all this. Here also we had found the same precious stone beads of various stages of production. And we have an index trench also here. We had gone up to the early phase, where we had found in the early phase, it is divided of same precious stone beads, but terracotta beads of tubular shape, we had found more in number in the early stages. And you can see another view of the closed drain. This is actually the fortified area, which you can see here the fortified wall of the factory area. I had already mentioned that every fight, that is whether it is a warehouse or a factory area or a citadel, it is a separately fortified, but within the fortification wall. But actually, this is a fortification wall of the factory area, which goes here and turns towards the west. You can see that the same wall is running all here. And beyond the factory area, we had found 4 chamber with you can see here the outlets. When Professor Kendriya visited the site, we had to have the discussion what is the probable use of this, and he had of the opinion that it may be a dying word, because you can see here 2 chambers, and that also with the outlets, inlets and outlets. You can see here. So it may be an important structure that the Harappans are used, the class they are used for dyeing here. And this is another view of the same fortified area. Here we take a trial trench, and in the structures which are in the early stages, we had found that less copper objects, but more terracotta, the TC beads. But it is only we have found 1 or 2 same precious stone beads. You can see here the partitions beyond the fortified area in the later stages. This is another view of the early phase structures in the factory area. I had already told that they had separate places for the bead making or shell making or the copper smelting. Here it is one of the area where we had found the terracotta beads and the shell ladles. We had found more in numbers, nearly 5 to 6 shell ladles placed one above the other in the small places we had found. You can see here the storage jars and the cylindrical jar of nearly 1 meter height we had found in this area. And this is, I had mentioned, that copper smelting area with all those things. And this is a shell debitages which we had found near the Tandoor Chulah area with a working platform, all those things. And this is one of the important one, the Citadel area, where the excavation has revealed that was raised within the general fortification wall. It is actually it is a square in plan, measures 90 meters on all sides. The width of the wall, the fortification wall on east, north, and west measures 5 meters. And only on south, it is of a 10 meters. That is one of the interesting aspects, because on the south side, the river Kari is very much near to that. So whenever there is a flashback, the first the Citadel wall has to be destroyed. So they had given a 10 meter width to the wall there. And actually here you can see that in the other photos, the wall, the Citadel wall and the fortification wall is run on the same alignment. So they had given a 10 meter alignment to the Citadel wall on the southern side. And as usual, they had used a multicolored mud bricks measuring 1:2 ratio on the top of the fortification wall, which in turn act as a pathway all around. Huge residential structures with interconnected rooms and entrances has been found here. And even we had found a circular well inside the Citadel itself. And this is a northeastern area of the Citadel before excavation. And you can see this is after excavation area, and this is a corner. Sorry. Actually, this is the pathway between the Citadel and this factory area. This is a factory area, and this is the Citadel where we had found the pathway all along there. This is before the complex A where we had excavated. You can see here the complex A in the Citadel. This is one of the entrance. Actually, this is a fortification wall of the Citadel. This is one of the main entrance to the Citadel, where you can go here, and it comes all around the way. And this room is you can see is a main entrance of this complex is here with a multifarious entrance. Even it has a step to climb. Actually, the person is staying on the steps only. There are 2-3 steps. He's going climbing over there. Actually, it shows that evidences on the deep trench, it shows that there is a periodical flood. When there is a periodical flood, they raise the structures, and based on that, they even close the entrance, and they have on the different sides. And you can see here the steps which led to the pathway all around the Citadel wall. This is one of the earliest phase of the Citadel area, where the multicolor mud brick beds were used to laid over the area to raise the structures. And you can see here the clear evidence of the entrances of the same structure, structure A, complex A, here where the entrance is here in the early stage, and it was closed and it was raised again somewhat. And you can see here, and after there is a flash flood, and it was raised once again. And on both sides, it is periodically they are raising the structures. And you can see here the overall view of the closed entrances of the Citadel here and here also. And here they are closed, and you can see here the general entrance. This is when we were excavating in other area of the Citadel, that is a complex B, we had identified that, and we had found the structures of the well and all those things. You can see here also the various structures of various phases. And here we have found a copper bangles and copper ingots in a separate pot, which was stored inside the Citadel, one of the houses of the Citadel. And this is another view of the well. This is a southern fortification wall of the Citadel area, which is nearly 10 meter width. And it was laid with mud brick beds, and even some areas it was covered with mud bricks. you can see here the same wall interior of the same wall where we had laid a deep trench to know the structural phases. You can see the early phases of the structures where here you can see the mud bricks, and over the mud bricks that raise the structures. And from here up to here, it is a very nice stone they used. And you can see here the structures of the different phases. Even they had given a revetment to the fortification wall, which has acted a bluster for the floods, against the flood. This is one that I tell that this is actually this is the outer fortification wall, general outer fortification wall, and the citadel wall extends up to this place. Here you can see the corner stones wherever they are used for the citadel or for the salients or for the bastions. The cornerstones they are used polished sandstones, but in other places they are used other type of stones, the roughly finished or fair phase or well finished stones. And you can see this is a citadel wall on the southern side, and this is a fortification wall, general fortification wall, which abuts with the citadel wall. Another important structure is a closed drain here. Is a structure as first early we identified as a bipartite wall because it separates the Ware House area and the other unexploited area of the very huge places, and which encloses the Ware House area, I had told. And it actually bifurcates the main eastern entrance because in there is no continuity of the eastern fortification wall in that place, because at nearly after 175 meter there is one separate opening at the eastern fortification wall. After that it runs for nearly to 210 meter, and it is a built up square built to courses masonry with fair face with mud mortar. This was one of the finest structures exposed so far. The main east-west wall was exposed up to 15 meter towards west, where it comes to an abrupt end and leaves 1.40 meter space for pathway between the citadel and the factory area. A closed drain was noticed at 2 meter away from the southwest corner, and which is in a square in shape and encased with flat stones. Two drains were also noticed from the southern facing wall. These drains actually used during the phase 2 and 3. The bipartite wall was actually a covered drain, huge drain, which might also take the stormy water outside the residential area and probably discharges into header and structure. I will show that to photos. Overall, the water structure was one of the finest architectural excellence of the Harappans at Khirsara. Further, the flood deposit noticed at three phases coincide with evidences of the area, especially the citadel, and here also, where we can find the sand bands, the sand silt deposits. Though its intensity is low in this area, the huge flood in phase 2 was noticed as a thick band of sand here also. You can see here, this is a bipartite wall, we are early identified, and it was changed. It's a closed drain. You can see here the drain was entering here, and from here also we had found two drains. Where from this is a Ware House area, from Ware House, and here this is a factory area, and this is a citadel area. From the waters are coming, or the drainage which coming from both the areas, or the third area also, it will be discharged through the river Kari. And you can see the other extent of the bipartite wall, and actually it cuts into the eastern wall. You can see here there is a gap between the fortification wall on the eastern side. In the earlier phase, it was used as an outlet for the water, stormy water, but in the latter phase, they had closed with a mud brick in header and structure. And after that, they had a rise with the bastion, with the salient also. Another important feature is industrial furnaces, where I had already mentioned that it is the citadel, or whether the factory area or the warehouse. It is within the with separate fortification, but with a general fortification. But these type of industrial furnaces, which are outside the fortification wall, but within the second parallel wall. You can see here the wall which are running on the northern side, which turns on eastern, and it runs continuously up to on the eastern side also. And within this area, there raise a furnace, industrial furnaces, and actually it is a rock cut one. You can see here the sandstone rock. They had cut, scoop into that, and they had raised that furnaces. You can see another view of from the inside of the furnace. And there are 15 floors. Actually, the diameter is nearly 3.80 meter of the whole area. And we had collected samples of ashes. We are only find ashes because of the high intensity heat. Nothing as we had found as a light charcoal, all those things. And there is nearly 15 floors for the for the heat to outcome. And you can see this is another one. This is also there is a series of industrial furnaces on the eastern side, but within the second outer fortification wall. This is also one of the furnace which we have found. Actually, this is nearly 3.50 meter in length. And this is we had just cleaned the soil for documentation. This is also a furnace, also vertified soil, and we had found that some part shards are fused within this vertified one. This is one of the Tandoor Chulah which we had found in the industrial area with a terracotta plate as a heat retainers. And this is a pear-shaped furnace used for copper smelting. We had found in the factory area. And this is already I had shown that in the mud bricks veneered with stones. Where in the fortification wall they had mud bricks. They used mud bricks, and it was enhanced with stones on both sides. And some of the types of stone finishing at Khirsara are already mentioned, that square to bases and random cores and random uncoursed structures. And they are also regular courses and point stress, that's a corner stressed stones. And they are fair face and rough face, which we are found invariably to all the foundation of the fortifications and other structures. And we had found the mud bricks of various use pattern structure. They are used the bricks on bed. They are used the mud bricks on a head shape, and they are used the bricks on head end also. And during the course of excavation, we had found that a mud mortar, but we had not found any evidence for the lime mortar. And the plaster already showed that mud plaster we had found in some of the structures in the fortification wall and in the wall of the citadel. And another one is important is a special feature which we had found in the outer fortification wall. When we are excavating there, we thought that it was a entrance. So we had tried to excavate this area because till date we had not found any entrance on the northern side. So we thought that it may be entrance, but on the excavating we had not found anything like that. But when we are comparing the structures with other like the Dholavira, we had found also same alignment like that. When we are discussing with the scholars, they are telling that it is one of to minimize the damage when there is a earthquake or anything. If it is a adherent structure, the wall there, it will collapse for a long distance. So when there is alignment is in a state one, the wall will fall up to this and the damage will be minimized. So this is one of the important feature which we had found at Dholavira. We had found here also at Khirsara also. And thank you.